All right, picture it. The Taj Mahal, gleaming, white. You know, that iconic image. We all know Shah Jahan, the emperor, had it built. But, you know, this deep dive, it isn't just about a building. No, it's about him. Shah Jahan, his whole empire, and the really fascinating story behind it. All of it. We've got historical accounts, we've got architectural analyses, and all sorts of sources to unpack the real Shah Jahan. Our mission, if you will, is to go way beyond that simple postcard image.
What I think is so compelling, you know, is how his story, even before he became emperor, really set the stage for the empire's whole artistic and political direction. His formative years were absolutely crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about it. Born Prince Khurram in Lahore, grandson of Akbar the Great, that's a pretty significant start right there. And Akbar, I mean, he clearly favored Khurram, even named him Joyful and raised him in his own household.
Right.
So how did all that early exposure really shape him?
Well, that upbringing, especially contrasting it with Jahangir's more, Persian-leaning court, it gave Khurram a certain comfort, I think, with diverse cultural elements. He wasn't even solely with his parents until he was a teenager. And, his education covered everything. Warfare, poetry, but notably we see this early interest in building, like he was drawn to it.
Wow.
And that foundation really informed his later patronage of the arts and architecture. It's all connected.
So we're talking about a really well-prepared prince here, but his path to the throne, I mean, it wasn't exactly a straight line. We know he had early military wins, earned him the title Shah Jahan even, but then you have Nur Jahan and her influence.
Oh, yeah. This really highlights those power dynamics of the Mughal court,
Right.
Nur Jahan, Jahangir's wife, she was incredibly influential and favored a different successor altogether. This led to Shah Jahan's revolt in 1622. Unsuccessful, but it just reminds us that succession wasn't automatic, even for him.
Right.
And then, after Jahangir's death, of course, you have that brief but intense power struggle. It wasn't until 1628 that Shah Jahan finally became emperor. And, well, the executions of his rivals followed.
It was a tough transition. But once he was in power, the art and architecture, oh man, it just exploded. This is the era called the Golden Age, and for good reason.
Yeah.
His love for building, personally, it's so evident. Everywhere you look. That shift to white marble, all that intricate inlay work.
Yeah, and what's remarkable, too, is that fusion. Persian, Islamic, and Indian styles all coming together, creating this really distinct Mughal aesthetic.
Yeah.
And painting, too. It reached this whole new level of detail, and literature flourished. The court itself became incredibly grand. Think of the peacock throne, those new protocols, the whole scene. It was a sight to behold.
And it's not just the Taj, right?
Yeah.
The sheer scale of his building projects beyond that is, honestly mind-boggling. Renovations at the Agra Fort, the whole city of Shah Jahanabad with that incredible red fort, and the Jama Masjid, plus the gardens in Lahore, even canals. It's immense.
It really underscores his ambition,
Shah Jahan as a builder. He left this powerful, lasting mark on the empire. Every single project a real statement of imperial power and his artistic vision.
And of course, we can't talk about Shah Jahan without talking about Mumtaz Mahal. Their love story, it's legendary, right? They met young, married, and it seems like it was a truly devoted partnership, a real love match. She was his constant companion, his advisor.
What strikes you most about their bond?
Just, the depth of it. He entrusted her with the imperial seal, her advocacy work, speaking up for the poor, for those in need. It shows a real partnership, not just a marriage.
Yeah.
And then her death in 1631, his profound grief, that's what led to the Taj Mahal, right? It's an incredible story.
It is. And building the Taj Mahal was, a massive undertaking. It took decades, thousands of artisans, materials from all across the empire and even beyond. The chief architect, Ustad Ahmad Lahori, he oversaw a truly international team.
Wow.
Even the engineering involved, to build on that kind of soil, really advanced for its time.
But, his reign, it wasn't without its challenges. He had those early rebellions, conflicts in Kandahar, and that looming issue of succession with no clear rules, which, of course, led to rivalry among his sons. And then, his shift towards more orthodox Islam, that had some big internal impacts.
It really raises questions about the complexities of his rule, doesn't it? Alongside all those cultural achievements, there were some significant internal and external pressures. And of course, the Deccan famine, a huge crisis, that also happened during this time.
Right.
It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah. And then the succession struggle in 1657. He favored Darashikoh, but that quickly turned into a full-blown war. Aurangzeb's seizure of power, declaring his own father unfit to rule, all the battles, executions. It's a real tragedy.
It highlights the instability of Mughal power, and the personal tragedies even these powerful rulers could face.
Yeah.
His final years under house arrest in Agra Fort, looking at the Taj Mahal, it's a really powerful image of lost authority, isn't it?
So beyond the Taj, what we see is a complex figure, a military leader, a builder, a devoted husband, but also someone navigating some really intense political waters, making decisions with huge consequences. His legacy is, well, obviously this incredible art and architecture, but also, sadly, the seeds of future conflict.
Yeah. If you connect this to the bigger picture, I think Shah Jahan's reign is a potent reminder of how personal stories of love, ambition, and loss can be intertwined with imperial history, creating these monuments that still shape how we understand the past.
It does. It really gives you a new perspective on that famous silhouette. And here's something to think about. How did Shah Jahan's intense personal experiences, of love and loss, ultimately influence not only his grand architectural vision, but also the political course and even the destiny of his empire? This deep dive, it certainly offers a richer, more nuanced way to see a truly significant historical figure.
That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.